there's another concept, and then I'll go into more specific things, but there's another sort of philosophical concept that is inspiring to me. There's a biblical principle, and it's in Mosaic law. So it's in Exodus, and it talks about the idea of a bond servant. And a bond servant is a person who was a slave, and then they were freed, and they chose because they loved their master so much, or they loved their environment. They chose to continue to serve that person all the rest of their life. And in that Mosaic culture, they would actually put their ear at the door, the door of the owner, and run it all through it. So they made a physical mark on their body to show that they had decided to forever serve that person by their own choice, not because they had to. That's kind of when people say, why do you want to run for governor? That's kind of the thought process that goes through my head. I don't need this job, and I've struggled really, quite frankly, with trading this life that I have that's private and wonderful and whatever, successful and all that, to go to do public service. But I'm compelled by what I said earlier in my life, which are the fact that life is short. We ought to be about things that matter, and changing people's lives is a meaningful pursuit in my mind. We're very fortunate in this state. I think we've had really great leadership for decades. Some would argue about some of it in the middle of it, but I mean, we've had a lot of great governors over the years who've done a lot of great work. We've made a lot of progress in a lot of areas of our state, and if any of y'all heard Governor Haslam in the last week, I've heard him 3 or 4 times. I've kind of followed him around listening to his talks to kind of see where he is on all of these things he's proposing. And we're in a remarkable place in this state, fiscally, AAA bond ratings from every, and moving in the right direction in education, moving in the right direction in so many areas. But I think if you're a Tennessean, and I talked about my interest in education, jobs, and public safety, I think if you're a Tennessean, if I asked you what really mattered to you most, and particularly if you get away from the political world and you just drive through Tennessee and you stop and say, what really matters to you the most that the government can impact? I'd like to have a good job. I'd like to have my kid to have a good education, and I'd like my neighborhood to be safe. And that's about it. I mean, that's something that just about everybody can agree to. So we've made a lot of progress in education, and things are moving in the right direction, and we're one of the fastest improving states in the nation. But you know what, guys? We're still in the lower half of states in academic performance. Memphis has 7% readiness in their high school graduates to go to college. Nashville's only like 11. We are making tremendous advancements because of the leadership in the state, but we have dismal performance still. We just have a lot of work to do in that area, and we need someone we need people who really understand that and will continue to push that pedal. Criminal justice and public safety. Nashville just had the worst homicide record in 10 years. Memphis just had the worst, and I'm using Nashville and Memphis because they're the 2 biggest cities with a lot of the challenges. But as go the big cities, including Knoxville and Chattanooga and Tri-Cities, as go the cities, so goes the state in a lot of ways. So Memphis just had the worst violent crime rates in recent years. Upper East Tennessee has an opioid addiction problem that is creating a crime problem and really a public safety problem that can't be ignored. We have some serious issues in our state with regard to public safety that need to be addressed.